1.2.4 Social Neuroscience, the intersection of social psychology and brain research. In a basic sense, everything we do, feel, imagine, or create reflects activity within our brains. Reading and understanding the words on this page is a result of activity in your brain. Are you in good mood? Whatever you are feeling also reflects activity in your brain and biological systems. How do you know who you are? Can you remember your best friend in public school? How your first ride on roller coaster felt? Do you have plans for the future and do you believe you can actually achieve them? All of these memories and experiences are the result of activity in various areas of your brain. In the past 20 years, powerful new tools for measuring activity in our brains are as they function have been developed. Although they were initially developed for medical uses and have generated major advances in surgery by helping to illuminate abnormalities as shown in figure, magnetic resonance imaging, fMRI, PET scans, and other techniques have also allowed psychologists and other scientists to peer into the human brain as people engage in various activities and so find out just what is happening at any given time. The result is that we now know much more about the complex relationships between neural events and psychological ones, feelings, thoughts, and overt action. Social psychologists too have begun to use these new tools to uncover the foundations of social thought and social behavior, to find out what portion of the brain and what complex system within it are involved in key aspects of our social life. Everything from prejudice and aggression through underperforming on tasks due to choking under pressure and empathy and helping. Burkham, Holman, Newman. In conducting such research, social psychologists use the same basic tools as other scientists. They study events in the brain and even changes in the immune systems. In order to determine how these events are related to important social processes, the findings of this research have been truly fascinating. Here is one example of what we mean. Attitudes and values are an important part of the social side of life. As you will see in chapter 5, they often shape our overt behavior and underlie powerful emotional reactions to events and people. But how are they represented in the brain and how do they exert their powerful effects on our behavior, thought, and emotions? Social neuroscience research is providing intriguing answers. For example, consider a study by Van Burkum and colleagues. This investigation was designed to determine what happens in the brain when people encounter statements that are consistent or inconsistent with their strongly held values and attitudes. To do this, they recruited two groups of participants known to hold opposite views on many social issues. One group was known to be against euthanasia, growing of equality of women in society, abortion and the use of drugs. Members of other groups, self-described as non-religious, were known to hold opposite views on those issues. Both groups were then exposed to statements related to these attitudes on a computer screen. And while viewing them, electrical activity in their brains was carefully recorded. A key question asked by researchers was how quickly do people react in terms of brain activity to statements that disagree with their own attitudes or values? Do they react this way as soon as they encounter a single word that is inconsistent with their views? Acceptable in statement, I think euthanasia is acceptable if they are against this action, or only after reading the entire statement and considering it carefully. Previous research indicated that certain patterns of activity occur very quickly when individuals encounter words inconsistent with their values. Only 250 milliseconds after seeing them and indicate that intensified processing of this word is occurring. Other patterns, in contrast, occur somewhat later and reflect negative reactions to the value inconsistent statement. It was predicted that each group would show stronger N400 reactions to words that were inconsistent with their values, so that, for instance, the Christian group would show stronger reactions to the word acceptable in connection with euthanasia, while the other group would express stronger reactions to the word unacceptable when linked to euthanasia. Results offered strong support for these predictions and suggest that we do indeed process information that disagrees with our attitudes very quickly, long before we can put such reactions into words. So, yes, attitudes and values do indeed exert powerful and far reaching effects on activity within our brains and on our overt actions. Here is another example of how social psychologists are using the tools of neuroscience to study important aspects of social thought and behavior. Have you heard of mirror neurons? Mirror neurons. They are neurons in our brains that are activated during the observation and execution of actions. And it has been suggested that they play a key role in empathy, our capacity to experience vicariously the emotions and feelings of other persons. Mirror neurons are located in a portion of the brain known as frontal operculum, OPERCULUM, and in an intriguing study suggested that perhaps people who score high on questionnaire measuring empathy would show more activity in this area of their brains when they viewed facial expressions of others. To test this prediction, the researchers exposed two groups of individuals, one who scored high or low on a measure of empathy, the capacity to take perspective of other persons, to video clips of others' facial expression, example smiling, frowning, or to faces that showed non-social movements, example the movement nots associated with particular emotions. Activity in brains of both groups of participants was recorded through fMRI scans. Results were clear. As predicted, persons high or moderate in empathy did indeed show greater activity in the frontal operculum, where mirror neurons are located, than persons low in empathy. Research in the rapidly expanding field of social neuroscience is at the forefront of advances in social psychology, and we will represent it fully in this text. We should insert one warning, however, as noted by several experts in this field. Social neuroscience cannot provide the answer to every question we have about social thought or behavior. There are many aspects of social thought that cannot easily be related to activity in specific areas of the brain, including attributions, group identities, and reciprocity. In principle, all these components of social thought reflect activity in the brain, but this does not necessarily mean that it is best to try to study them in this way. The situation may be similar to that existing between chemistry and physics. All chemists agree that ultimately every chemical reaction can be explained in terms of physics. But the principles of chemistry are still so useful that chemists continue to use them in their research and do not all rush out and become physicists. The same may well be true for social psychology. It does not have to seek to understand all of its major topics in terms of activities in the brain or nervous system. Other approaches that we will describe in later chapter are more useful in terms of providing important new insights. Throughout this book, therefore, we will describe research that uses wide range of methods from brain scans on the one hand to direct observations of social behavior on the other.